What we're doing is stockpiling average players, I think.
Yeah, and Rodgers wouldn't be doing that. That's not his style at all. He likes a much more intimate squad because he likes to have that close relationship with his players, so it's not going to work anyway. My bigger fear is that Rodgers goes, this is bad for my reputation here. If we don't back him properly, he's just going to go, here's my terms. We all agreed my terms. There's no way he's come to Celtic in the summer and not agreed a budget and not agreed what he needed in terms of positions.
That, for me, is the bit that's not making any sense.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot tell me Rodgers came back for this.
Give me 9 projects, please.
Yeah. You cannot tell me he came back for the club to be managed in the same way as it previously was.
When he was there.
It makes no sense.
Yeah. What they've given him is 9 mibbies, and I don't think he came back for 9 mibbies. James, we've spoken a few times about Alex Ferguson and his famous quote when it comes to transfers, and he says if you get 1 and 2 right, you're doing well. Let's say of the 9 signings this summer, or you can add the 12 and talk about the 21 signings in recent times. Have we get 10, 11 of those 21 right?
No, I think you've got 6.
Aye, I think that's exactly. I think we're getting 1 and 3 right, despite everything we learned or thought we'd learned under Ange. So what's going on?
Coming for a man that signed Jemba, he's been maybe a bit fair to himself there.
He was on the other side of the two.
What have we learned? A lot of these signings are Ange signings, so you need to take that into context as well. Some, the likes of Kobe Ashi.
It's not Ange, it's not Rodgers. It's what's the overarching recruitment team.
Well, and again, we don't really know how that works. Should we know intimately? No, but we should have a broad idea of how it's structured and who's got the final say. And I
think Rodgers has given you the detail on it and said, he'll give them, requirements. They'll go and find the players and do all the numbers and all that kind of stuff, and they'll fit it into the budget for the squad. They have not performed by any stretch of the imagination.
Are we just not spending the money then to buy a better tier of player?
But the worst is, we're spending the money, we're spreading it.
Spreading it across.
Yeah, but if we spent 18 million in the summer, it's not well spent, is it? No.
18 out of 30, that's 12 million on the table.
Yeah, James, we touched on it earlier in the chat there. Mark Lawwell, he was appointed in May of last year, May 2022, 3 transfer windows ago. What do you think of the job he's done?
I like to give guys space to perform in their job, and I like to keep it separate from all the nepotism and all that kind of stuff. But when you don't perform, that comes back into focus, because you go, is someone who's in your line to manage you going to honestly bag you when the chairman is sitting there going, I've been at Celtic for 30 odd years?
I think you make a great point. The nepotism, it doesn't sit well, but winning games of football and performing at a high level papers over all those cracks, and nobody minds. But it's when things don't quite go right, with 2 losses and a draw from 3 Champions League games, we've dropped points we probably shouldn't have against Saturday, but that can happen. And that's when you start to ask the questions. That's just football. When I was looking at this, I'm thinking, right, when did Mark Lawwell get the job? So you kind of throw it into Google, and the report comes up from Celtic's official website, that we've announced him in May 2022. The picture they've used to announce Mark Lawwell, what would you expect?
Peter Law.
You would expect Mark Lawwell, in my opinion. It's a picture of Ange, right? That to me is clever / sneaky. Ange was king of the castle at the time. Nobody had a bad word to say. Oh, we've announced Mark Lawwell. Let's see him doing his job at City. Nah, we'll just put a picture of Ange up. All right, let's get some quotes from Mark Lawwell. Do you know how many quotes there are? Absolutely none. But there's all these glowing quotes from Ange Postecoglou. It is stage managed at its best to kid us on that this is the best gig in town and there's nothing to see here in terms of nepotism. Just calling it what it is, it's not right. But, I understand the City connections and, the systems and processes that Mark Lawwell will bring or should be bringing. But the evidence ultimately plays out in terms of the guys that we end up seeing in a Celtic shirt. And I don't think we're seeing it.
There was a very, very funny exchange on our group chat, because one of the boys was saying, Lawwell's not involved, and one of my other mates was saying, of course Lawwell's not got to be involved when it's his son that is, it's got to be the head of recruitment. It's got the way that we're operating's got Lawwell's fingerprints all over it.
Aye, and we've seen this movie before.
We've seen it before. It's what we fear the most. We know it doesn't work. Your
fear is here.
It can bring out the odd diamond. It can do, and power and control are very hard things to let go of. When you've had them at a place for a long period of time, you're not just got to sit back and go, right, that's me done my stint, lads, on you go, when you're still the club chairman and your son's head of recruitment. I mean, come on. What do you think is on?
See, when we had that period of weird Celtic behaviour when you're signing players before transfer windows open and all that stuff, and you're getting Kyogo and Maeda and Hatate and all the rest of it. How many lols were in the building at that time?
I'm going to hazard a guess. It's 0 lols.
It's 0 lols. And what's happened since 2 lols came back into the building?
Things have changed. I didn't want to fall into the conspiracy road.
Yeah, but there we are.
It's not a conspiracy. It's right in front of you. It's a fact.
I know. I was about, give a second, Miff. As I was going to say, you know, when you look at the reality of the players that are ending up and the changes in process, I dug my heels in, and I don't think Peter Lawwell has a direct impact on who comes in player-wise. But at family dinner, there'll be chats going on.
But also, you know this, he permeates the whole organisation. He has influence on everything. And the fact that he's in the building, and that's from ticket office to marketing to whatever, people have relationships with Peter Lawwell and they know how he likes things to go and they perform to that standard.
It's a toughie. The last question on the whole thing, I'll put it to you, James, because it's a short question, but I don't know the answer. What needs to change or improve on the current situation? Please.
Oh, that's easy.
In as few words as possible.
Back to 0 lols. No, I don't think it is as simple as that. I mean, if you look at, just run it like a proper organisation. Are you performing in the role that's been set out for you? And if you're not, here's the steps to improve or leave or whatever it may be. But if Mark Lawwell, whether he needs a better team around him, whether he needs to have someone above him, beside him, whatever, maybe that's an answer. Maybe he needs to go. I don't know, but it's not my job to work that out. That's Michael Nicholson's job, supposedly. I hope. And that is just run it like a proper organisation. Are you performing? No. We'll get out then.
Simple as that. Have any final comments for yourself on Celtic's current transfer policy?
Well, just do it better. Do it better and back the manager to a sufficient degree.
Don't leave money in the bank.
Yeah, it's no use.
That kills me,
at
man.
all. 72 million, shiny coins, just looking great, but doing nothing for us. But yeah, we'll reserve judgment on guys like Tilio, Mike Navrocki that I mentioned earlier on, and the likes of Yang and Lagerbielke might come good in due course, but it's fair to say that at the moment, our signing strike rate isn't what we all hoped it would be.